And we're back with Stefan Mychaliw, the big shot Republican, as I put it, from New York and Washington. And just before the break, I gave you fair warning.
I appreciate that.
I think that, it's not unusual for Canadian politicians to have American advisors and from a different perspective. So what would you advise Carney to do now that he is Prime Minister? Recall that when he became first Prime Minister, he went the first week over to visit his buddies in Paris and London. He didn't go to Washington.
Probably won't.
Well, should he or shouldn't he? Let's start on that.
Absolutely. I was an elected official. I ran for public office before I became a communications consultant, political consultant. And the best advice I was ever given when governing was good governance leads to good politics, not the other way around. So I would tell your prime minister, focus on governance, especially when dealing with President Trump. He is not a guy who cares about the process. He's a guy that cares about results. So it might be messy process, fighting, bullying, the whole nine yards, whatever you want to talk about, but he cares about the end result of a negotiation, business deal, whatever it may be. And I would say, do not in any way, shape, or form think that you're going to be some tough guy and bully a person like Donald Trump. That will never go over well in Washington, D.C.
We have more warheads than we do. So, I mean,
a lot more.
You're not going to, you're right. We aren't going to be, we're going to be like the Canadian with the little flags and the gray short pants. But so you would advise within a certain period of time, the Prime Minister to go to the Oval Office, but he can't go there sort of hat in hand begging for something. I mean, we had an experience with Lester Pearson in the 60s and LBJ, where LBJ just picked up our Prime Minister by that and said, yeah, don't do that in my country. So you've got to have a certain degree of decorum, or at least something in your back pocket.
Well, look at how it worked out for Zelensky. And I am Ukrainian. He's the Ukrainian president. How did it work out for him?
That wasn't that good, was it?
No.
But Carney always wears a suit.
That he's got that going for him.
Yep.
It's not the camouflage jumpsuit, but you know what? He puts on a tie. He looks great. Must be from his banking days.
Yes.
But it did not work out well for the Ukrainian president. He walked into the Oval Office. And again, I am a Ukrainian American who is passionate about making sure that we preserve the homeland that my family came from. And of course, still putting America first. But he walked into that Oval Office meeting with J.D. Vance and President Trump thinking he's going to kind of like bully and push these guys around. You do not want that semblance of an outcome with President Trump. So I don't think...
So you don't want to be a wimp either, though. So it's something between being, a bully, as you say, and someone who Trump's going to walk all over.
Well, but from a political perspective, you have the option of using a chainsaw or a scalpel when it comes to your negotiations. So I would strongly recommend not going the route of a chainsaw, thinking that, okay, and it worked, it worked well for Mr. Carney in the election, saying, okay, I'm the tough guy. I'm going to take on Donald Trump. Vote for me. You're the person I want for the Canada First philosophy. Yep. I'm going to defend us. We're never going to be the 51st state. Great. Wonderful. That worked great in a campaign. Great campaign slogan. But on day one, you have to govern. You have to show people, okay, this is what I'm going to do to make your life better. This is how I'm going to negotiate with President Trump to put Canada first and make sure that we're friends again and make sure that we have trade deals, tariff deals that are beneficial for both nations. So the time for rhetoric is done. He won the election. God bless him. It's done and it's over with. Now it's time to govern. Now it's time to lead. But he's not going to go anywhere by trying to bully President Trump.
Do we have, does Carney have enough arrows in their quiver to go to the White House and say, Canadians supposedly like bourbon, so they can deal with Kentucky, but that's not the mainstay of the American economy.
Absolutely not.
And I know that a lot of American farmers, in fact, a great number of American farmers like potash from Saskatchewan, because as the rest of the states will find out, if those farmers aren't growing things, there's not a lot of food.
Well, think of it this way. Roughly 75% of your goods flows south to points in America.
You buy from us.
Right. And for us, that number is a lot lower. It's about 10 to 15% of our goods going north. Sure, when it comes to oil, obviously Canada is a huge oil producer, but Donald Trump can turn around and say, drill, baby, drill. Screw Canada. Fine. We won't buy your crude. We won't buy your oil. We're going to drill it right here in America. So it's hard to be a tough guy when you're holding very little cards. So that's why I think it's in everyone's best interest for just both countries to come together, have discussions. But again, Carney, he can be the carnival barker on the campaign trail, but now it's time for him to lead.
I know, and I'm still bearing down on how to lead, because it's not going down there and holding hands and singing "Kumbaya" in the Oval Office with your president. He's not a Kumbaya guy. So when we come back, what Canada, the United States is going to look like in a few minutes? Right back in a minute.